All right, here are the answers for the two worksheets, 12.2 and 12-3. So this is 12-2 on rates. Now these are the types of problems you'll do when you can solve rates. All right, so Hotels R Us charges $45 per night for a single room. At that rate, how much for the week? Well, if you just took it times 7, you'd get $315 for the week. 2, the Morales family spends about $84 each week for food. On average, how much per day? Well, if you take that and divide it by 7, because there are 7 days in a week, you get $14 per day. Sharing practices. Now, I noticed a few people were a little confused on this. Sharon practices playing the piano about the same amount every day. She practiced a total of 4 hours on Monday and Tuesday. So that would be 2 hours on Monday, another 2 hours on Tuesday. So after day 2, she would have practiced 4 hours. Day 3, 2 more hours or 6. Day 4, 2 more hours or 8, 10, 12, 14. So in a week, she would practice about 14 hours. Okay, and I know some of you did 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, but then you added them up, and that's fine too. But you can kind of see the pattern there. Now, if I get too quick on you, just pause, okay, and keep going at your own rate. Okay, number 4 is try this. People in the United States spend an average of 6 hours and 4 minutes each week reading the newspaper. Okay, so A, that's how many per week in minutes. Well, I know that in 6 hours, there's 60 minutes per hour. So if I multiply those, I get 360 minutes in the week plus the extra 4. So 364 minutes each week. Okay, so a little converting here. At that rate, how much time does an average person spend in a 3-day period? Well, up here, I know that we read 364 in 7 days, which is the same as a week. Well, if I want to find the minutes per day, the unit rate, I'm going to do 364 divided by 7, which would give me 52. Then in 2 days, it's another 52, so 104, and you're just going to count by 52s. Come on. Or multiply 52 times 3, and I would get 156. So in a 3-day period, they would read 156 minutes. Now you can keep doing this table. So 4 would be 208, and you can kind of do the math. This 5 would be 260, 6 would be 312, and 7 is 364. Okay, now I just did these for you. 5, 6, and 7. Now 7, if you're going to have a remainder. So your remainder is 4, and then I can put that over my divisor, so 4/8. So it'd be 81 and 4/8, or if you reduce that, it's 81 and a half, or if you write it as a decimal, it's 81.5. Now 13, I'm going to show you 13. Now, if you are able to do these types of problems without a calculator on your own, that's basically level 4 division. So over here, you have 546 divided by 42. Now, if you know how to do 652 divided by 8, it's the same steps. Thing is, whoops, sorry. Can 42 go into 5? No, it's not big enough. Can 42 go into 54? Yes, one time. 1 times 42 is 42. So I subtract that, and I get a remainder of 12. Bring the 6 down. Now, how many times can 42 go into 126? Well, if I do 42 times 2, I know that's 84, maybe 3 times. Oh, that's 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. I get a 0 remainder. So 3 was my answer. So 13. 42 goes into 546 13 times. Okay, study link 12.3. All right, number 1, a mole can dig a tunnel 300 feet in one night. How far can it in 1 week? I'm going to take that times 7. 2,100 feet in a week. Okay, an elephant may eat 500 pounds of hay and drink 60 gallons of water in 1 day. About how many pounds of hay could an elephant eat in a week? Well, 500 times 7, because there's 7 days in a week, 3,500. How many gallons of water in a week? Well, 60 gallons in a day times 7 days in a week. Whoops, my 0 didn't show up. 420 gallons in a week. Okay, a bottlenose whale can dive to a depth of 3,000 feet in 2 minutes. I'll move this just. Okay, well, about how many is that per second? Well, there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, another 60 in 2 minutes, so 120 seconds in 2 minutes. So you take 3,000 feet and you divide it by 120 seconds and you get 25 feet per second. Again, we are converting. A good milking cow will give up to 1,500 gallons of milk in a year. Okay, so about how many gallons is that in 3 months? Well, I would have to take 3,000. There's 12 months in 1 year, so I would take 15,000 gallons divided by 12 months in a year, and I get 125 gallons per month. Sorry, this is 125 gallons in each month. So I'm going to take that times 3 months. So about 375 gallons in 3 months. Okay, about how many quarts is that? Well, 375 gallons has 4 quarts per gallon. So think about it as a 1 liter bottle. Like a lot of your water bottles you guys bring to school, that's 1 quart. So there would be 4 of those in 1 gallon. So I'm going to take 375 gallons times 4, and I'd get 1,500 quarts in 3 months. Okay. Oh, this is funny. My sister, we used to always call her a sloth because she would sleep so much. And she was kind of a slow mover. All right, number 5, sloths spend up to 80% of their lives sleeping. Can you imagine? 80%, so that means 20% is not sleeping. Not only is a sloth extremely sleepy, but it is also very slow. A sloth travels on the ground at a speed of about 7 feet per minute. Okay, that's on the ground. In trees, it's faster. It's 15 feet per minute. Isn't that funny? Okay, so after 1 hour, how much farther would a sloth have traveled in the tree than on the ground? Well, after an hour. So I have to take each of these times 60 because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So on the ground, it moves 420 feet in an hour. In a tree, 15 times 60 minutes is 900. So it says about how much farther. That is comparing. I'm going to take 90 minus 420. and it goes 480 feet more in a tree in an hour than on the ground. So interesting. Now, number B, about how long would it take a sloth to travel 1 mile on the ground? And then they give you this hint, 5,280 feet in a mile. Well, this was the feet. Wait a minute, where am I? Oops, did I make a mistake? Yes, I did. This is supposed to be 80. Sorry. Whoops. Oh, you know what? Nope, I was right. Okay, I was looking at something. About how long would it take a sloth to travel on the ground for 1 mile? So I do need this. This is how many feet per minute. Okay, so 5,280 divided by 420 feet. Okay, so I got 700 or 12 and a half hours. Okay, so this was 12 and a half hours. So it would take the sloth 12 and a half hours. Now I rounded this because it said about, it was like 12.57 something. I did use a calculator, which is fine. You guys can use a calculator. So then on the ground, think about that. 420 feet. No, in a minute. 5,280 in 12 hours. So a mile, 12 hours to do a mile. It takes you guys about 6-7 minutes to run a mile. So think of that. Then for minutes, I'm going to take 12.5 times 60 minutes, and you get 750 minutes. So it just shows you that sloths are really slow. Now, this piece of information right here, okay, that wasn't even used. They tried to trick you there. That was extra. That just tells how many, how much of their lives are sleeping. That had nothing to do with these answers, so they tried to trick you there. Also, these 2 pages, 1, 2, you should have gotten those. If you got those, you're on the right track. 3 and 4, where you had to do some converting, and number 5, they were trickier. Don't worry if you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you want to go back and redo it, it does get tricky, as you could tell, because I was even kind of messing up between the 2. So do not worry. Number 5, that's a try this. That's kind of a challenge. If you got it, awesome. That's probably 4 level converting and math. All right, and then here's the practice. I just gave you the answers. If you are doing those all paper pencil, good for you. If you used a calculator, that is fine. This chapter is basically on finding rates, unit rates, thinking like that. So I just put those answers there for those of you who are doing them paper pencil, longhand. That's awesome. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. We will probably be having a quiz on this Friday, Thursday, probably Friday.